Right, we're now recording.
Yay! So thank you very much for joining us tonight. My name is Stephanie Phillips. I'm the founder of World Childless Week. And as you can see, I am surrounded by a whole family of champions. It's really excited because there's quite a few people I've never met face to face this way. A few people I've not chatted to other than over Messenger. We're all here to shout, I'm worthy, you're worthy, we're all worthy. And yeah, that's it. Shall we just get into it and start going? So, Berenice, you're my saviour tonight, so I'm going to come straight to you.
Oh God! Luckily, I know you, and I know where you live.
You know, you don't want me doing this.
I know
because
you.
we talked about questions about discovering our worth.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you said perhaps we should look at it as how would we think if we were somebody's best friend?
Yes.
We knew them as childless.
Yes.
So do you want to sort of approach that?
Yeah, I think so, because I think we can often, I think when we are coming to terms with our childlessness, for whatever reason that might be, we can be really quite hard on ourselves. I think we can feel that worthiness. I know I certainly have felt that, I thought, oh, what's the point of me now? Because I saw my value only really as being a mother. And that can really be one of the most difficult things, I think, to come to terms with. And I know that when we've spoken and when we've met up, you and I have met up, and when I've seen other people, I've met Michael as well, that we've talked about things. And I think, goodness, this is such a supportive friendship network, but we are actually often the worst at being our own best friend. So that was kind of where I was approaching it from, about being our own best friends and actually getting rid of some of those negative voices that we can have, those words that we can use. And I'm terrible at it. I'm awful. I'll sit here and I'll say something, oh God, you're a bit rubbish, aren't you? And you think, oh, no, did I say that to myself for? At least I had a go. And I think that's it, for anyone that's even read a post, and you and I say this a lot, about if you read a post on World Childless Week, if you write a post, if you just like it, even you don't even have to do anything apart from just maybe look at something. That's an interaction, and it's something, and it doesn't have to be going, and doing something really big and I don't know, all the things that we do here that are different and diverse. It can just be the smallest thing, but it's giving something back to yourself and saying, okay, it's all right to engage with this, and it's okay to read this stuff, and to actually know that there is somebody there who might be feeling the same way as me, because there's so much stuff that you're sharing here, Steph, that is so relevant, I think, to somebody.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I always try and aim. I think we all try to aim in all our different sort of little communities, and then with World Childless Week is to make sure we're giving different viewpoints for different situations so that everybody can find somewhere or something that they relate to.
Absolutely, yeah, because there's so many ways that we can be here on this podcast. I think all of us as champions have a different way of being here. And that is what's fantastic about being a champion, is that actually I can sit in the same room and I can learn from other people about why we're here and the different reasons we're here, and that just adds to the conversation and the learning that we're sharing during these important week that we're having here, and always, actually, because it's 365 days of the year. It really is.
Definitely.
Did I answer your question there, Steph?
I think you did very well. You know what we could do?
You did put me on the spot there.
Well, all right, I'm going to give you the power now to pose a question to another one of the champions.
Oh my gosh! No, you really are. You're quite evil, aren't you? She comes across as being lovely, but then puts me on the spot, Honestly, I'll forgive you at some point. Oh gosh. Oh goodness.
It could be the same question or slightly different if you want to, or just ask them what they feel is their worth. Come on.
Gosh.
Do you want me to do it again then?
No, I'm going. I have a question, and I am going to ask. Look, I'm going to voice this one over to Michael. Swings it back. See, I'm throwing that grenade to you, Michael. You know the metaphorical grenade that we spoke about. You know that one. It's with you now, because it's about 4 a.m. over there now, and I'm going to ask you that in terms of worthiness and the journey that you've taken, but also within the clan of brothers, because I think it's so important to mention that here this evening and all the stuff that you've done, which I just think is absolutely incredible. Is worthiness, do you think, different with men than women? Do you find it's a different trait? Do you think there are different values of worthiness? See, there you go. There's a question for 4 in the morning.
That's just
and
fucking
actually,
right
that's a question actually for everybody on the podcast. I think maybe, do we have different values of worthiness? What do we see as good worthy traits?
Just the philosophy module.
Go on. Oh look, you spoke there, Robin. It's over to you now. Go on. You're never lost for words, Robin.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, go on,
I'm not
Rob.
so sure about that. Exactly what you mean.
I have no idea what I mean.
quick point. I've just realised, Berenice, are you set up on just to highlight the one person? Can you change it so you've got it for everybody on screen at the same time? Somebody's mentioned they're just seeing the person talking.
Gallery view?
That's the one.
Yes,
so if you
please.
change it.
There we go. There you all
Somebody
are.
can confirm we've gone to gallery view. That would be brilliant.
Gosh, you all look lovely. I'm buying Michael some time.
All right, okay. I'm just trying to
Michael.
think. Worthiness, that wasn't in the script that I thought of. Well, the
Mate,
question
I've got
that
an
you've given
answer
me
to this.
wasn't in the script that I gave myself.
You see, should have messaged me earlier.
Yeah. So I'm just going to take it off on a tangent because I can't answer your question. Firstly, I'd like to say how bloody awesome it is to be here with all these lovely people. One of the things I noticed when we first pressed record is everyone had a smile on their face. How good was that? And we've look at all the continents and countries we're from, you know, and what I practiced for the last 4 hours while Vicky was a bit asleep was that in terms of worthiness, I want to say to the people out there now that look at us, look at us all. We're smiling, and we are doing this not only for ourselves, but we're doing what we do for you. Hang on, I've got to look at the camera. For you. And so what I want you to do is, as you look at this, as you listen to me, I want you to feel that worthiness, because that's what we're doing. That's what we do. Why we do this. We do this for you. Because we know you're worthy. We have felt your pain. And yeah, look, there's not much more I can say in that we're doing this for you. So I hope right now that you've got a big smile on your face as you look around at all these lovely people from all around the world, your brothers and sisters, because you are worthy. You really, really are. I know it doesn't answer your question, Berenice, but that was what I practiced.
I think it was a pretty good answer regardless. She's on mute. She hasn't realised.
You're on mute. Yes, I've got it back. She's on mute.
Oh, I hate you, really. I'll talk to you later. I will.
Go on then, Michael. Have you got a question or just a general pose to somebody else, one of the other champions? Who's your victim?
Who's my victim? Oh, wow. I've had some interactions with many people here, but the person I haven't had an interaction with is Sandy. So I would like to hear from Sandy about what it means in terms of worthiness. What does it mean for you to be here?
Well, to be here in this group, right here, I am almost emotional, overwhelmed that I see my little picture around the pictures of these people that have done so much for me. Jody Day, I will say without even no hesitation, absolutely saved my life. Absolutely saved my life. So mwah, mwah, mwah. And Stephanie and I have become friends through this. I think the big thing is that for for worthiness is knowing this is all about your tribe, which I didn't even know what a tribe was until Jody. And I have so many people that contact me about being childless, and they always say, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do either. But what I can tell you is that when things started changing was, number one, I read Jody's book, which if you have not, I assure you it will make a difference in your life. But number two, find the people that you trust and that you love that are going through what you're going through. And that makes the biggest difference in the world, because people can have all the empathy and can try to make you feel that you're valuable and you're worthy, and that's great. But having somebody that's walked in your shoes, that you have stood shoulder to shoulder with, that to me means so much. And that to me is what made me starting feeling worthy about myself again, and where I'm hopefully helping others to feel worthy as well, because I now know that I have a tribe standing next to me, beside me, in front of me, and are there to protect me. And never in a million years did I think that I was going to be able to get over this or through this. And now I've got a kicking ass life and I love it. I just had 60 people leave my house because I got a puppy, and I invited all of these people to my house, and I was looking around and I'm like, 3 years ago, I didn't think I was going to survive that week. And now look, got just people that I love on this group. And yeah, so that's it. I think worthiness is a great word, and I'm just appreciative to be here. So, and thank you, Jody.
Go on then, Sandy, the baton is passed to you. Who would you like to speak to and pose perhaps a question? We've got a couple of questions appearing in the box if anybody runs out of ideas. In the Q&A box.
Okay. Thank you. Let me see. Was there specific realization? Okay, this actually is a good question. And Kate, I'd like to come to you with your beautiful background where you are. So it says, is there a specific event or realization there was a turning point to truly believing your worth? Like, when did that actually happen for you? Was it a switch where you're like, I felt one way this day and another day? Like, tell us about that realization.
Oh, well, thank you, Sandy, and good to meet you in person. This is just the thing that I'm struck by, and I just have to say this too, following Michael's lead on this, is this is a full screen of people that I have admired for so long, and to know that there's page after page of screens of people who are doing this work now, whereas I think I might be the elder here. There was a handful to create this screen when I was going through this at the beginning and in my dark days. There wasn't the screen. There weren't as many people. There were people, but there weren't as many people. And so I say yay to everyone, and those of you who are out there doing work that we haven't even seen yet, yay to you. And so the question about my path was a hard path, because after my ex and I stopped trying to have kids, we moved into a rural area, which, we thought, oh yeah, we'll do our little go back to the earth time. And everyone had kids. And what I realize now, since we don't get to know where we're going until we've actually been there and look back on it, that created the condition where I had no choice. I had to go out. I'm a flip charter. I would put it on a flip chart every year in January. I need more people in my life that don't have kids. And so that was the kick in the pants that I needed to go from my place of shame, to go from to my place of belonging. And it took a really long time. And if I were going to do one thing different, it would be to take a deep breath and open my mouth to people who I knew were like me in some way, shape, or form as soon as I possibly could. And before I thought I was ready, that's what I would do. So thank you. You all are amazing. Okay, I'm going to be quiet.
You can't be quiet, Kate. You've got to ask a question. I can't be the one to come up with this many questions. Choose someone.
We have a couple more in the Q&A box as well from people. Someone is asking about how do we even start to feel worthy. You might want to pick that up as a question, Kate, for one of the other champions.
Well, and actually, I like this idea that we ask the questions, for me, of people that we don't know, and I don't know Yvonne. And I'm curious what the instigating condition
Which Yvonne?
Was. Oh, two Yvonnes, Yvonne, John, but I don't know either Yvonne, so whoever wants to answer the question, go.
I was going to say the one with the blue shirt, but the other Yvonne has also a blue shirt.
Yeah, we both have blue.
Okay, I'm going to say Yvonne may or may be an American, so I want to hear from Yvonne John because I know she's not. But maybe you're Canadian, so excuse me, I'm apologizing for that. So Yvonne John, I want to know what the instigating event was that caused you to make yourself vulnerable to be heard and understood as you actually are in the world.
So in 2015, I was on Jodie's Plan B mentorship program. And I remember being amongst an amazing group of women. I think there was about 14 of us. And firstly, didn't feel like I deserved to be there. I felt the shame of my past, just meant that I didn't deserve to be a mum. And having 2 terminations and being around women who really wanted children, I felt like I just didn't deserve it. I really didn't deserve it. And one of the best moments for me was just feeling the love and the unity within that group, and it really helped me to stay present in that arena and be able to work through my grief and be open and honest about my grief and how I was feeling. And as I was moving through it, I remember listening to the other women's stories, and it dawned on me that no one outside of that circle was listening to us. So parents, people, other mothers, they all wanted to fix us with their, what Jodie calls the bingos. Have you done this? Have you tried this? Have you heard this story? And I still get that today, which is amazes me that even no matter what I say, people still want to try and fix me. But because of that, I remember jumping up and saying, you know what, I'm going to write a book about it. And then I thought, what am I doing? I don't know how to write a book, and this is crazy. And everyone was like, yeah, let's go for it. And then I ended up then, every month we came back, everyone kept asking me, how are you doing? How are you doing? And I was like, how's the book going? And I'm like, But then I was fortunate enough, I think it allowed me to be more open about where I was in my journey, because before then I wouldn't really talk about anything in my life because I felt like if it didn't happen, I was a failure, everyone would know about it. So I used to keep quiet. So from that moment, I started to talk more about it, and I was at other women's events and I was sharing the experience I had about being the only childless woman in the group and how it felt, and I was going to write a book about it. And then somebody offered, a lady named Helen Tucker offered to coach me, and she coached me to get this book out. And I had a collaboration of women who all bravely shared their stories, and it showed me how much they trusted me to look after their stories and present it to the world. And then that was the first step. And then I was invited to speak at International Women's Day in 2016. And it was like the more I was owning my story, the more vulnerable I was becoming, the more people wanted to hear. And so I kept getting invited onto different platforms, different interviews. And then women were coming back to me saying, this is amazing. You're speaking my story. And it was like I was giving them a voice, even just to stand there and say, I'm childless too, which they had never done before. It was just the most amazing experience. And I felt so valued and validated and worthy, because until then, I still live in a world where people want to keep me quiet, especially as a Black woman. People don't want to hear me. They want to shut me down. They want to keep me quiet. But in this world, in this arena, people are pushing me to speak up. People are saying, thank you for being so open, thank you for being so honest, because then it is allowing them to be open and honest with themselves too, so they can own their stories. No matter how they share it, they can own it and stand in the strength that they are childless and they matter too. So do I get to?
Yeah, you can get to it now. See how this really gets me off the hook tonight, and I'm loving this idea. Just keep going.
I am going to ask, right, forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. So Shika Humbuzo? I'm sure that was really bad. Now, I listened to your podcast, your interview recently that you shared for World Childless Week. And I'm going to deviate from this because it's still around the worthiness. But what struck me was, A, there's not many Black men talking about being childless. And two, there's definitely not many Black people within the Christian environment, in Christian arena, that are talking about it. So I would like to know what inspired you to share your journey around childlessness.
You're still muted there. Is it school? You did try and say off.
I did try, and I was very bad.
I know. You tried to tell us, and I apologise. Go on, Michael.
Hey, school. That question was for you.
Thank you. Oh yes. So sharing my story has been a righteous rebellion. Maybe you've never heard that. It's righteous rebellion. Because looking at the culture that I'm coming from, it's a highly pro-natalist culture where childbearing is really an achievement, for lack of a better phrase. So I had to rebel against those cultural norms and also rebel against those cultural values that you don't speak about this, you don't speak about something so shameful. Why should you actually break into public and talk about something that's really humiliating? And furthermore, being a pastor soils the whole thing, because this is actually saying you are a man of God, and how can you talk about something that despises the very God that you claim to be the one that really provides for you? So what are you doing? What are you doing? So this righteous rebellion has not gone without scorn, so to speak, because some have actually come and say, why are you sharing that? Why are you sharing that? So worthiness, in my point of view, feelings of worthiness, they don't really come in the absence of worthlessness. So there's got to be some worthlessness issues that really cause you to feel worthless. For you to feel worthy, you have to engage this righteous rebellion and cut against the grain. And when you do that kind of a thing, then seeds of worthiness sprout in the seedbed of pain. The seedbed of pain is the one that really causes them to germinate more faster. If the seedbed of pain is not there, these seeds will not germinate quickly. So I commend to you righteous rebellion. Go out there. When they speak ill of you, have this righteous rebellion. When they mock you, they curse you, have this righteous rebellion. Whatever they do, righteous rebellion is the one that is going to help us to feel worthy, So basically, that is what I have coming from my cultural perspective and my religious perspective. This is the righteous rebellion. This is what I comment. It's a very good pill. You can actually buy it. I can sell it to you for free.
I want the sash. I want the sash, the you know, I want it all. I love it.
Okay, all right. So it's my turn to ask the question now. Okay. There is a man that really, I call him my father. Okay, I call him my father. He calls himself childless, but he doesn't know that he has a son in Africa. And that's the man, Rob. He's already unmuted himself. And he has broken new ground because there is very little that has been said about male childlessness. Very little. It's there, but it's not that much. In breaking that new ground, how did that make you feel in terms of worthiness in breaking that new ground?
A great question. Thanks, son. Have you washed behind your ears today and cleaned your teeth? Have you been a good lad? Have you? I'll be checking. That's a really good question. In terms of worthiness, well, I think in the long term it's played off in supporting my worthiness, and I've been replying to this, but just to the panelists, in a great piece of understanding of technology. So what I've said about my worthiness, so I don't have to type it out again, is that it's fluid. It goes in and out with different situations and feelings. And from what Bernice was saying earlier, is it different between men and women? I don't think it splits along those lines because there's so many other influences on us in our lives. So our worthiness is related to our biology, and our biology is different. But aside from that, we all live in a world, and that world imparts things on us, expectations and ways of being, and that brings worthiness to us. Some of that worthiness is outside, it's social worthiness that's imposed, and other times, at the same time, it's balancing the internal worthiness. So doing this work, I think because when I started studying it, there was nothing on man, that was really sparked my curiosity why that was. And then it just drove itself after that. And then once I started interviewing men, I thought I've got to put this out there because there is nothing there. And if I put something out there, it's not I want men to follow me or anything, it's just that they have something to bounce against. So they can say, well, it's a bit like that, but for me it's like this. Because if there's nothing to bounce against, you just carry on going and going and going into infinity, really. And you can put a bit of structure by saying, well, I'm a bit like that, but I'm a lot more like this. And there's a great song actually by Paul Simon which says, I can't run, but I can walk much faster. And I think that's a lovely phrase that maybe we can sort of pick up. I'm not this, but this is what I am. And then you can draw that out to say, this is what I am, and switch it around so that this is what I am becomes your worthiness. And the thing you're not sort of reduces down, and you can build that track, if you want. And what I put in my message was, I was on the wrong side of the wrong track. And in my life, when I realized that actually I'm a childless man, I was desperate to be a dad. And in that image of a train carriage full of people having a great time, and you're on the platform and that's pulling away, that's sort of thing that I was going through at that time. So doing my research and standing up, I know I thought, well, somebody's got to stick their head above the parapet here, and I can represent these men and what they say, And by using my own example first, but then saying, well, this is what happened to me, but it's not just me. There's a lot of men out there like this. And putting a narrative in, because there's not much narrative that are meant to draw on so they can build their worthiness. So that was a long rambling answer, as Berenice so acutely hinted at the beginning of the show. Okay, how does that sound, Shul? You're muted. Okay, but
thank you for that one. I just want to really publicly acknowledge the work that he's been doing, because why I call him my father, maybe you may need to understand, is the moment when I was deep thinking about what to do about my situation, I came across his research. And when I was reading his research, his articles, his academic journals, they spoke about me, saying, why am I seeing myself on this paper? I saw myself on his articles, a number of them, they really spoke about me. This is the reason why I really asked him a question on why academic research and the question of worthiness. So I just want to publicly acknowledge you. And my brother from the clan of brothers, Mike, we are so grateful. We are so grateful. And these beautiful people that we are having today, it is my pleasure to be part of this. And this really actually boosts my work, because I think I am not alone in this journey. Thank you.
That was beautiful, and I acknowledge it. And I wish I had some tissues. I don't think I need tissues, but I might have to disappear and get some. So thank you. And it was heartfelt from you, and it's felt in my heart.
Over to you then, Robin. What's your question, and who are you going to?
Oh gosh, you have to. Right. Yeah. I forgot that bit because I was so immersed in me, as per usual. So I'm going to go to Yvonne Mayer and say, hello, Yvonne. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm doing fine. And surprise, Kate, I'm from Germany, actually.
Okay. So, worthiness and you.
Worthiness and me, is that a whole question?
Yeah. It's an open one. You can take it wherever you want.
I think the interesting thing is that maybe many of us go into this adult life with the idea that being a mom or a dad is being really worthy. And when that doesn't happen, it's a kind of the what? And it's so difficult to talk to other people about it, because people will tell you, no, you're totally worthy. It doesn't matter that you don't have kids. You're a lovely person, blah, 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 blah. But inside yourself, you go, yeah, I know, but actually not. And to find a way of deconstructing that thought, which is obviously not true, but still totally in yourself, and of distangling the grief and the idea you had of your life, of your future, and to notice what impacts the worth. I find that very difficult. And I also feel that you need a group of safe people, and I found them with Jody Day's Gateway Women, also in the Online Bee mentorship program, where when people who were, well, women who were in my situation told me, no, you're absolutely worthy, I could actually believe this, because they didn't do it. Well, I think other people didn't do it like that too. Not only, yeah, you're worthy, yeah, of course. But I could kind of take it accepted it could be true. And this felt like a start for me. And I now know that moms struggle with these questions as well. I give them a lot of worth because they are moms, but they think about this as well. But I think it's easy with a role like this to kind of take it like a coat. So this is my worthiness coat, I'm a mom. But when you can't do this, you need to find it somewhere else. And I find it's important to find it with a lot of gentleness and grief and yeah. And finding those people is really, really difficult. So there was a radio show this week, incidentally, on childlessness in Germany on the radio. And I was a bit scared of listening to the podcast because I what will this be? But it was actually a really nice conversation. There was one miracle baby story and one guy who said people shouldn't do IVF because it's against nature. But many, many other people called and kind of acknowledged the difficulties and the big wish people have for children, and that it's so huge, and how to find a way out there. And it was really lovely. And yeah, but many people called there who had gone this journey as well, and they kind of carried it really nicely. So yeah, finding a group that carries you with this is so important. And I guess then you'll find the worth somewhere. I like the words with the seeds. That's really nice. So seeds of little worthiness plants, and then they can grow. Maybe some don't, but some will. So I think that's my answer to the open question. So, I don't know, Christina Archetti, and
yes, perfect pronunciation.
I have a friend, he's Italian, so I'm learning from him. Let's see if we can find in the Q&A a question, because I also like the question that Julie Greenan posted, and I don't know if you want to answer it, but how do we define worthiness? Because when we all want to find worthiness, what does worthiness mean for you?
So is this the question? How do we define worthiness?
How do you define worthiness? It's a really difficult question.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for the question. And I just wanted to say that earlier when you said there was somebody who was questioning IVF because it was against nature, I had a moment of kind of cheering, but not because I'm against IVF, because I'm cheering for everyone who says anything against what is the mainstream. So I was, yes, great that somebody's daring to break this topic in the open. So that was all. Yeah, how do I define worthiness? I must say that I'm struggling with worthiness. And there was earlier a question about when was an event that really made us understand our worthiness. And I don't think I've ever had this event. And I think the experience, my experience has been really like trying to stay afloat in the water, trying to prevent myself from drowning, and I was moving and struggling a lot. And then over time, suddenly I realized that I was struggling much less. And even I could even just float and watch the stars because it was so bad. It was even drowning at night. But I suddenly realized that I think what happened was that the experience of pain and grief led me to really question everything about my life, including what are the sources of my happiness and what is the source of my value. I also realized that because I wasn't going to become a mother, I was placing all of my value into my productivity in work. And I also realized that I was killing myself because I was working like crazy, and I was actually trying to punish myself because I was a failure. That was my background thinking. But suddenly I realized that I hadn't done anything wrong, and there was no reason for me to punish myself. And so I I mean, somebody also in the question and answer asked, how do you even begin to feel worthy? And I think I didn't have anything amazing. I think I just started noticing that I had a body, because I hated my body deeply. And it's almost like I was completely ignoring it. I wasn't feeling not even the physical pain almost. And I suddenly realized that this body was tired, and I had pains. Like I had a pain in my hip that was chronic, and nobody could tell me what it was caused by. And so I started basically taking care of myself. But even not in an amazing way, just saying, maybe today I can take a lighter class and not the cardio challenge, the mega challenge, or in the gym, or maybe I can sleep half an hour longer. Maybe I can take 5 minutes and just watch the trees. So even just these simple pleasures, even just recognizing there is so much beauty around us. And I was just running everywhere and missing everything. So I think even just slow down and, feel your body, just breathe. And I think that already makes a huge difference. And so worthiness is not about doing anything amazing. It's just realize you're here, and your life starts here. So it's not how you will fix it at some point in the future. And it doesn't matter what the future is like. Just think about what makes you better today. And sometimes, even if I'm a champion, I'm not posting on Facebook, I'm not replying to emails, because today I don't feel like it. And so that's part of, again, take it, do what you can. And I think when you do what you can, that's enough. So I hope that was a good answer. And maybe I should move on to Linda Malm in Sweden. And it's of course, I'm based in Oslo, so it's the Scandinavian Alliance. And Linda is also a person who's inspired me a lot. In fact, she was the first person I interviewed, and the first person who, in fact, asked me to tell my story and invited me to an event in Sweden. And I couldn't believe that she was asking me to do this. And I was thinking, but what no, in fact, you asked me to talk at your event. And I said, but what shall I say? And you just said, just tell your story. And I thought, okay, I'll try it. Okay, maybe I should look at some of the questions online. Do you think that we assess our worthiness on the basis of what others think of worthiness, of standards set by others? And what is your way to deal with this?
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Christina, for your question, and thank you for everything in the past years. You've been a safe shoulder to rely on through the years, and thanks to you, I think I'm here tonight, because it was a little scary to, take the first step forward with all your people here who's done a lot of work, and I'm just here in little Sweden trying to promote or advocate the subject here, but Christina's been holding my hand through the journey, and I'm thankful for that. And about worthiness, with your angle compared to, I think, what others think about value compared to our situation, I think worthiness is something I need to take for me, to take away, not take away, take from others, because everyone has an opinion about your worthiness, but I think it's up to you, who you are and what you think your worthiness is about. And for me, sometimes if you take for granted, like for parents, they have their worthiness, they had the children they had to take care of, and they had the worthiness through that. But sometimes you take that for granted, that kind of situation just goes so easily for them, kind of, to the worthiness. Not always, of course, but I think that's something you have to think about and step forward. Sometimes I translate Swedish expressions like take your place and move forward here. I am here also, and I also need to have like take space, or I don't know what the English words are, but you know, you have to sometimes show yourself that you are worthy, and you also need a space where you can step forward and show who you are and what your values are. And I love the idea that Yvonne Myers just said about the seeds. You can put out worthiness, and I think it's the same idea that I'm talking about. I need to take my worthiness and, you know, train kind of, you know, to try to, you know, get used to the idea that you have a worthiness. So that's not something that will pop in one day. You have to practice to do that. And it's quite interesting to see all of you here today from the whole world, that this is an international dilemma. It's not just something you have in your countries or a little place somewhere. You have it all around the world. And we're dealing with this in all kinds of cultures. And that's very interesting for me also, because I think we could speak about worthiness in different cultures as well. And it means different things, more or less. So I guess we could, if you write our story each, and we would have so many different angles about worthiness there. So yeah, I think I don't know, I don't remember the question, Christina, but I'm just
thank you.
To be here.
This was great. Thank you.
So I will pass on this subject, and I'm moving forward to Catherine Emmanuel. I've never seen you here before, but you're a French speaking. Or,
yes, but I do speak English.
Yes, but are you in France or in Canada?
I'm in Quebec, actually.
Are you in Quebec? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me hear your point of view on worthiness from the Canadian point of view, or your point of view.
Actually, I've been taking notes of what everybody has been saying, because it helps me to get my thoughts clear, and it fuels me really what I'm hearing. And someone brought up before the word worthlessness, I'm sorry. And I find my worthlessness was fed a lot by comparison to others, comparison to mothers, basically, mainly. So that I found fueled a lot of my worthlessness. I'm sorry, it's a complicated word for me. And then when I went into action, really creating my blog and getting more out there to meet, trying to find women like me, childless women, that fueled my sense of worth, because I was not standing still in comparison. I was just engaging and transforming myself and doing something about it. And for me, it was creating the blog, but it could be like just being able to speak to a colleague and exist with the fact that I'm childless and she doesn't know about it. Maybe it could be giving an interview to a journalist. Maybe it would be speaking to my mom about how it makes me feel to be childless. It could be like whatever steps are good for you. For me, there's no small steps, really. It's just about engaging in your self-worth and engaging on a path to take care of yourself in relationship with others, really. Because this is, for me, it's the hardest thing, is to engage with others carrying this grief, carrying this shame, carrying this worthlessness. This is a big deal, I think, for childless women. And for me, well, I'm still struggling with it. You know, Christina, you said before, I don't always feel worthy. Still, it's still a struggle, and for me too. And it makes me feel good to see another woman just saying it out loud in this conversation. And yes, some days I don't feel worthy, and it's fine. Just accepting you're not on top of things every day, and it's okay. And just stop resisting this pain is the most, I think it's the most profound experience, and at the same time, difficult experience. Mm. Merci. And now I have to pick someone. Do we still have time?
Well, we can't leave Karen and Jodie out of the conversation, can we? They're the only two who haven't answered a question.
Okay,
let's rebel and keep going. Let's just keep going.
Okay, so I want to send the question to Karen, because I already know Jodie, but I've never talked to Karen. So Karen, it's a pleasure to discover you today. And
thank you.
And how did you? What do you think about this theme of worthiness and worthlessness? Did you struggle with that? Those two feelings coexisting together?
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for the question. And c'est très bien de te rencontrer aussi. It's lovely to meet you. And thank you for the question. And yes, I have really struggled a lot with both of them, with worthiness and with worthlessness. And I, like you, I still have moments where I feel worthless, or but I also now have moments where I feel very worthy, and they are, for me, my worthiness actually came from the moment where I also started to realize that yes, I am a childless woman. However, I am so much more than just that. You know, my childlessness is a part of me. It doesn't make up all of me. And when I actually started to realize that, and when I actually worked through my grief on childlessness, to actually even just the fact to acknowledge that I was grieving over something that I thought, you know, how can I grieve something that I haven't lost? But then I, realizing that I actually did lose something really significant. I lost a dream. I lost the idea of my future. I'm childless due to cervical cancer. So I lost part of my anatomy. I lost a vital organ. And that made me feel really worthless, by the way. What is my worth as a woman? I don't have a reproductive organ anymore. What's my value? Why am I still here? What do I do? What is my purpose here? So it went really deep for me after my cancer journey. But then also when actually, like I said, when I realized that I do have the right to grieve, I can take the time to grieve this loss, and then indeed realize again what I just said, that is only a small part of me. I have so much more to offer. So for me, that's how those two tie in together. And yeah, I think I've said it quite often. People who know me and who know my work, my childlessness doesn't define me anymore as a human being. I know that I have something to offer to the childless community, but also to the world. And yeah, I'm Karen, and I'm childless, but so much more.
I think your answer is very interesting, because maybe it will challenge the women, because when you're in the deep pit of grief, I think the space that that takes place, the grief space is much more bigger. And how do you get from make this piece of this big piece of grief shrink and become smaller? This is what I think women are struggling with. And yeah, so I'm wondering if you agree with that.
Oh, absolutely. And I realize I'm getting another question. So, but I really do. For me, it was the only way I could get out of that overwhelming, huge, all-absorbing sense of grief. The only way for me to make that smaller was to go right through it, is to grab it with both hands and to actually do the work, and to not stay and to not sit with my grief and just, you know, acknowledge that I was grieving. Oh, well, I'm grieving. I realized, okay, if I'm grieving, what do I do to process this? How do you process grief? So that's when I started learning about, you know, what does it mean to be grieving, and what do I need, or what do I need as a human being who is grieving? And then, you know, literally took, you know, just small steps from there, and just, you know, yeah. So eventually, for me, that's how my grief became smaller, and how my self-worth actually grew.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Jody, how ironic, isn't it, that I get to ask the last question to you? Oh gosh, you know, it's you know, there is kismet. For those of you who don't know, I work with Jody, and you know, it's really funny that wherever we are together in a webinar or anything, we always get thrown in together at the end, and I love it. So thank you all for your incredible wise words and your incredible questions. And gosh, Jody, what to ask you? I feel a little bit starstruck almost. Jody, there is a question that I would really love to ask you, and it's in the Q&A box, and I would love to hear your point of view on this. And the question is, do you think we assess our worthiness on what we think others' views are on our worthiness?
Thank you, Karen. And it's you know, it's been absolutely lovely to be here and not to be talking, not to be listening to my own voice, because it's I do a lot of it, and it's so nice to be receiving this wisdom, this love that's just traveling around the world right now. And I echo what Kate said about there was nothing when I needed it. And now this incredible richness in each of our work, and then that Steph has brought us all together. So thank you, Steph. I think we are social beings. We do draw our worthiness from other people's opinions of us. That is how we're set up. We live in tribes. We have rules, we have expectations of our own, and other people have them of us. A lot of those expectations are unconscious, they're tribal, they're ancient. They don't fit the modern world. It takes a lot of work to unplug unconsciously, to realize how much of this unconscious material is impacting us very deeply and making us feel unworthy, because we're not jumping through these socially prescribed hoops. I think when we realize that actually not only have we not jumped through them, but that we don't have to, there is a huge liberation. And I think the way that we have to kind of take our worthiness back from other people's opinions, we have to bring it inside. I do think that worthiness ultimately is an inside job. I don't think it's a binary, that it's outside or it's inside, it's both. But I think when we start to really realize how much power we have ourselves over our own worthiness, we can turn the volume down on some of the external messages. It's not that they're not there, and it's not that in some ways they're not valid, but they aren't all applicable, and they are not truths about us. You know, being childless doesn't mean all the things that it is meant, you know, the negative things that it means. You know, I am Jodie. You know, childlessness is something that's happened to me. It's not who I am. You know, a decade ago, it was the first thing you needed to know about me. Hi, my name's Jodie, I'm childless. Right there. Now, childlessness is here. It's part of the context of who I am. You know, I'm Jodie, I'm an animal lover. You know, I live in Ireland now. I'm half Irish. You know, I'm lots of things. I'm a writer, I'm a psychotherapist, I'm a friend, I'm a lover, you know. I'm many things. I'm also childless. But it's not, it doesn't, I don't let it define me anymore. And it takes courage, because when we disconnect from the cultural message of how we become worthy, we then have to go on a hero's journey to find our own worthiness. And we need companions for the journey. And here you all are. And if you're watching this right now, find your tribe. You know, check whatever the champions are that seem to speak to you, that you connect with. You know, reach out to them. We're all doing work, and we need each other. And every single story and every single voice adds to the kind of tapestry of worthiness. And the more of us that claim our worthiness, eventually the world's going to notice. It's going to notice. Thank you. We are worthy.
Thank you, Jodie. It's almost feels right that you're the last one to answer a question, because for most of us, you're the first one who started speaking out.
Mm.
And you've sort of almost, like, so many of us are grateful to you for, even if we didn't come through Gateway, we've come to you different ways and got to know who you are and what you do and what you've done. And you really have sort of like led us and opened up avenues for us to actually go down that didn't exist before. So you've almost broken that worth barrier that was there and said, yes.
Righteous rebellion.
Yes, that is going to be so big now. That's a hashtag we need to use constantly. Yeah, so thank you all of you for speaking about worth. Yeah. I think it's been an amazing conversation, and I love that you say, like, we're all around the world, we've all got different ideas and views, but we still come back to the one thing, like Robin said, this is what I am. Yeah. And it reminded me of what we did for a We're Worthy a couple of years ago. Mm. And we did the I Am Me sort of project where everybody did their photos and said, I am. And it wasn't childless, it was all the positives that we are. And I've had quite a few people say to me, are we going to do it again? Are we doing it this year? And I think we should bring it back next year.
Yay!
Yay!
Because there are so many more people now who want to join in and do that. And I think we need to do it. For anybody out there who hasn't seen the I Am Me Gallery, go to past events on World Childless Week 2018 I Am Me Gallery. It is amazing. It will show you so many different aspects of why and how people are worthy. And they might just be childless as well, but that's really not important. Mm-hmm. It is just a fantastic page. So I don't think I've got anything more to say, because I think it's all been said wonderfully tonight. So again, I just want to say thank you all for coming along and doing this with me and being my champions.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Steph.
Yeah, thank you, Steph. Thank you to everyone. Thanks.
Steph, thank you. Thank you.
So if everybody's happy and they've all said what they want, Berenice,
do we have to go?
Can we just stay here? I just want to stay.
I'd love to stay.
Oh my
God. Yeah.
Is it too early to crack out the tinnies?
Yeah. My cool, is it too early?
One more thing.
I've got tea. It's boring, but you know, I could find something. Oh, look at you lot and your beer.
I need a big glass, but I'm actually drunk.
Water.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Berenice, Yvonne wants to say something.
Yes, because maybe today we can also thank again everybody who sent in poems, texts, pictures,
oh gosh, yeah,
anonymous or with their name, and who shared and put themselves out there on social media. I know it's totally scary. I found it very scary when I did it the first time 2 years ago, and but it's really worth it. And I've started a few conversations with friends, and they liked all my posts this year. And it's really a start. And I found it's also a start for conversations that maybe you don't want to start face to face, but just hint to everybody, okay, this is a topic for me. If you want to talk, you can do it. And that's all thanks to Steph. So it's really great that you
might have started it, but I don't do it.
But you create the things we can post. So
well, Childless Week, I might have created it, but we all make it, and that's the thing I always say to people. We make it as a collective. We don't make it as an individual.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah.
And I just want to add one thing. I just want to add one thing there, is and especially Yvonne, thank you for the shout out to everybody who.
No, the Wi-Fi.
Come back, Karen. What a time to freeze.
On the
Oh, we're gonna have to stay here now till she gets back.
Yeah.
I think that filling your own answer to that is appropriate.
Oh,
there.
Oops.
Oh no.
But
she's just not there. Is she?
I can speak if you want, because I wanted to say.
Come on, get in there.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk in French. I just wanted to talk in French to the viewers that are there. Je veux vous dire merci d'avoir envoyé des textes, parce qu'il n'y a pas beaucoup de choses qui se font en français sur le sujet des femmes et des hommes sans enfants. Puis je veux vous dire que ça me touche tellement de vous voir prendre votre place puis exister avec ce qui est là pour vous. Je veux juste vous dire que je suis fière de vous. I'm really proud of you, of all the French-speaking person that just sent me texts and writing poems. Thank you so much.
Well said.
Karen, you're back. You froze halfway through. Please carry on with what you were saying.
Oh gosh, really? Yeah. Okay. I don't know what was missed, but my moral of my story was that I want to thank everybody who contributed this week, who sent in their contributions to World Childless Week, whether it was a poem, a piece of art, your story, whatever you shared, or even just by sharing the webinars or the post, however you.
Oh no.
However you did it, Karen says thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I just wanted to say one thing, if it's okay, and that is that that I get to see the behind the scenes with the website, so I know how hard. I'm going to get that way. That lady there, Steph, has been working. The website, I can see the amount of people that are looking at it, and I can see all the engagement in it too, and it's absolutely incredible. And I know that Steph has worked her absolute socks off, and at various points during August, July and August, we have conversations on Zoom, and we're like, okay, everything's ready, we set the website up, and then I say, Steph, I will help you. Yes, I'm here, Steph, don't worry, it's okay. And she's just, I've had no questions. It's just that she's off. She's gone, right, website ninja she is. And it's amazing. So Steph, you are absolutely incredible, because 2 years ago we did a website and I took you through it, and you are absolutely incredible. And it's been so amazing that on Saturday morning, I sat at home here, logged on to Facebook and to Twitter, and thought, oh God, Twitter, Facebook, oh God. And what I saw was the logo that we had created everywhere, and it was absolutely amazing. I just sat there and went, oh God. So it was incredible to see that. It's just such a lovely thing that it's just gone so big, and I think it's much, much bigger this year. So yes, everyone makes it. You all do it. Not just us sitting here looking lovely on this call, but everyone that's contributed to it out there, wherever you are. Thank you, because it just means the absolute world to us, because it does take a lot from us doing this sometimes. Emotionally, we give, and when you get something back, whether it's just a small little like, it's just so rewarding. It really, really is. I can't tell you how important that is to all of us here as well. So yes, I don't do as well as Karen.
It's a millennial thing. I can't do it either. I'll just do this.
Oh, that's all right then. Well, that's fine.
So, can I say something? Am I allowed?
Go for it.
I was a little bit worried I wouldn't be able to get a word in edgeways because of all you women in here. But
oh.
Well, if you listen to our last podcast, you'll understand.
That's mean. That's so mean. Spoiler.
One of the things are that there's not many participants who have actually left, and we were sort of going to wrap this up. So what I want to say to the participants that are still here is, and you've seen some messages come through in the chat, the guys here are saying reach out to us, because one of the things that will do for us is increase our worthiness as well. Because if you contact us, if you reach out to us, you feed us as well. So please reach out to whoever you resonate with the most, or all of us, if you like. Was it that bad?
Oh, brilliant.
No, it just made me emotional. I was just like, don't make me cry. Stop it.
Anyone else have any final words they'd like to say? No? We've actually gone quiet. Oh, Sandy, go for it. Oh, she's waving.
I was just saying thank you so much and bye, and love you guys, and just still so honored to be a part of all of this. And I think all of us got something out of it, and that's just amazing. So love you.
It's great to see you, Sandy.
Absolutely.
Yes, you too. You guys are famous. It's so cool seeing.
Oh, gone again.
Oh.
Bye, Sandy.
Bye. Got to go.
So thank you, everybody. I think we've actually finished now. We've run dry for a little bit, so we better go because we'll start again. We know what we're like. Love you, Levy. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
I don't.
Au revoir.